Atiku formally declares ambition, highlights 5 focus areas. Constitution review. Nigerian women give federal lawmakers 7-day ultimatum to pass gender bills. Electoral Act. Despite outcry, Malami says implementation of court judgment still in progress. National Assembly to appeal controversial judgment on Electoral Act. APC Convention. Hamakura, Adamu, Namani, Omishore, 165 others vie for National Working Committee positions. We don't torture suspects, we only scare them. Police officer tells NSAS panel. Madeleine Albright, first woman United States Secretary of State, dies at 84. World leaders urged to end discrimination against girls, women with disabilities. Court approves contempt suit against Amechi over cargo tracking system contract. APC to Obanseki, stop indulging in self-glorification, fulfill campaign promises. Defection, court fixes April 11th for judgment in suit seeking Dogari's sacking. National Convention, APC governors meet Buhari, promise to support president's candidate for chairman. Reps probe alleged imposition of multiple fee on JAM candidate. That's all we are going to take from the Premium Times. We move on, and the next is the Nigerian Tribune. And from the Nigerian Tribune, worshippers disassociate cells from invasion of where? That's all I could see. Okay, I think from the invasion of OAU, Lagos Free Zone investment to eat $461 billion in 45 years. That's coming from NEPSA. Lagos Ride, Sanwo-Olu rolls out 1,000 cars for taxi scheme. APC governors endorse Buhari's choice for party's chairmanship. Atiku sues for diaspora voting in 2023. Buhari meets APC governors in Aso Rock. Alright, traditional worshippers disassociate cells from invasion of OAU campus. PFN gets new leadership in Sokoto. Be decorous in your campaigns. Delta PDP warns Guba aspirant. Okay, no core member wearing long skirt in Oyo camp. NYC, report at your husband's state of residence. NYC tells married core member. Over 40 billion naira needed to revamp Oyo education sector. That's coming from the state government. Okay, let's leave the Nigerian Tribune. Let's move on. The next we're going to be looking at is the Vanguard newspaper. And from the Vanguard newspaper today, APC convention, Buhari APC governors, others insist on consensus candidate. Nigeria collapsing under APC rule, PDP governors. Remover of Section 8412 from Electoral Act, Senate reps head to appeal court. 2023, Tambuwa meets Babangida Abdusalami, says PDP not zoning presidency. Only God's intervention can save Nigeria. That's coming from Gani Adams. Formalize modular refineries, tackle oil theft, others DQ, Agba, Enang, tells federal government. Nigeria collapsing under APC rule. I've taken that. Political community raises alarm over others' invasion, destruction of crops, attack on Obiozo's home. Okay, that's a feature story there. And that's all we're going to take from the Vanguard newspaper. Can we pick some stories from the leadership? I think we can. APC governors concede to Buhari on consensus candidate. 2023 PDP governors shun Atiku's declaration, meet in Abia. Former United States Secretary of State Madeleine Albright dies at 84. Electoral Act, National Assembly set for showdown with executive over Abia court verdict. Fire got tankers in Kano. I have not dumped presidential ambition, says Umahi. World Tuberculosis Day. Nigeria records 200,000 new TB cases in 1 year. How it turned Gombe to epicenter of peace. Governor Inuwayaya is recanting. Ebonyi, justice for Nnenayono. APC governors concede to Buhari on consensus candidate. Ukraine NATO chief warns Moscow ahead of emergency meeting. Outcry in Edo as Obaseki sacks 514 workers. 5,000 residents around Lekki DC port may relocate. Okay, Let's leave the leadership newspaper. Let's look next at Oyo Inside. Convention, Oyo APC deserves the highest position, zoned to southwest. That's coming from Dakmolam additional. Oyo Central, Naira reigns for Golu Surulere APC members. As what? As an aspirant, storm that particular local government. 2023, the president Nigeria needs Balogun rights. Okay, let's leave Oyo Inside. Next is InsideOyo.com. Oyo government to end over government college Ibadan to host students association. Ex-lawmaker Olale Radical brother obtains PDP House of Reps nomination from PDP to inaugurate Hallelujah 36 others as zoning committee members. Convention, Oyo APC deserves highest position zoned to southwest. Dakbolam. UIVC appeals to Nasu Sano to allow provision of essential services. South should produce next president. Southwest PDP insists vows to win Osun Ekiti elections. Oyo APC inaugurates state ESCO, 32 local government chairman step down Egbeda local government area. All right, let's wrap it up with some stories from the pen pushing this morning. Nigerian medical student who escaped death in Ukraine dies 2 weeks on return to Nigeria. Any lesson? Yoruba group, local government employees collaborate on council reform. College invasion, court orders housewife to sweep where premises for 6 months. Women give Nigerian lawmakers how many days? 7-day ultimatum to pass gender bills. Halake of Egbeland affirms authenticity of news report of pen pushing media. And with that, it's a wrap on this segment of the program. We'll take a breather, a short one at that. We'll be back to analyze some of these stories. Please don't go anywhere. All right, welcome back. It's good to know that you're there. The program is Rise and Shine here on Ibr92.5 FM Ibadan. I have Larry Aguru here. Good morning, Larry.
Good morning, all.
It's good to have you. And of course, Bright Richard is here. Good morning, Bright.
Good morning to you.
Okay, where do we start from? Let's start with these the controversy trailing the planned deletion of Section 8412 of the Electoral Act. And so you have in the Punch newspaper, Electoral Act, reps to report judge to NJC for empowering Malami to delete Section 8412. That's in the Punch newspaper. Also in the Punch newspaper, Electoral Act, Senate to appeal ruling allowing political appointees contest primaries. In the cable, deleting Section 8412 of Electoral Act, still in progress, says Malami. That's in the cable. Electoral Act, National Assembly plans appeal, tackles judge. Malami insists on amendment. The Punch, Electoral Act, despite outcry, Malami says implementation of court judgment still in progress. That's in the Premium Times. Larry, let me start with you. What are we dealing with? The House of Representatives, the Senate, they want to appeal the judgment. The Senate will be appealing that judgment. The House will be reporting the judge to NJC, and the PDP threatened to do same, okay, to report the judge to the NJC. But the Premium Times will say that despite outcry, Malami says implementation of court judgment still in progress. Falano came out 2 days ago and he said he has list of 132 judgments that this government did not jump at to implement. How come this, within a short notice, the government, is promising to implement it with immediate alacrity?
So many
issues.
Okay. Let's start from the last one. Yes, the government to the judge or the court or the federal government to jump because the federal government has interest. And you remember when, to be truthful to the president, when he was assenting to that particular bill before it became an act of the National Assembly, he did say that there was need for the National Assembly to amend section 84 subsection 12, and they found a way that that section would be amended. You know, that was already an interest, and it was explicitly made when assent was being given to that particular amendment bill before it became an act. So the people, Falana should not be worried at all. He knows the answer, and everybody knows the answer because that had been expressly stated by the president. On the issue now, reporting the judge to NJC, let me say sincerely that NJC cannot arrest that judgment. What they are reporting the judge to, why they are reporting is for the NJC to sanction the judge, or to query the judge, or to even kind of discipline him if that the judge is found guilty. If he's found wanting, if the judge is found wanting based on that judgment. And you know, I used to say, judge or court is not a Father Christmas. Whatever prayer you do not ask for will not be granted. If peradventure the judge ventured out of the prayers contained in the process, that is when it will be what? It will be disciplined. It will be sanctioned. No, if he is too before he acts towards the prayer. But what I found out is that the judgment itself is faulty one way or the other.
Oh.
Okay, that's good. One, you talked about section 66, subsection 1F. That means you have to resign 30 days before. That was according to the Constitution, and it's there. Section 10 is subsection 1F, subsection 1F also talked about that same thing. That is for the National Assembly, then for the State House of Assembly. 137 was talking about the presidency, 108 again, about the governorship, or somebody who wants to, the state. It was talking about the state. What I want to bring out is this, that 107, 108 is not 1FG, it's 1F, and 1F is not 1F, but 1G. So they just lump everything to be 1F, 1F, 1F. That is what, if they go ahead and delete 1F based on the judgment, that is an error. That is an error. That means judgment give impecuria. Impecurium is judgment given in error. Those sections of the Constitution are just, they are not the one that are relevant. Particularly 107 1F and 137 1F. It is 137 1G, 107 1G, not 137 1F. So that is one area. Then when you are talking about public servant, section 318 of the Constitution, that is the interpretation section or interpretational section, defines those who are public servants. Those are the ones affected by the public service rule at the level of the local government, at the level of the state, and at the level of the federal government. So political appointees are never classified or defined in that section of the Constitution 318 as public servants. And there are so many judgments of the court excluding political appointees from that class of public servant. I remember the ONU thing. I remember the recent one, maybe some years back, when somebody wanted to contest the senatorial seat against Adeleke, this Demola Adeleke, the man from Ejigbo, and they said he did not resign. It was a political appointee then. They said he did not resign. They said, come, he doesn't have to resign because he's not a public servant. So we are confusing public servant or political appointee as public servants. They are not public servants. The constitution has said so, and the courts have also said so severally. This other one, as listed, and the Senate appealing. Yeah, the Senate or the National Assembly was not a party
to that suit. The House of Reps said so.
They both chambers were not parties.
So does it mean the judgment is not binding on them?
It is binding, but do they have right to appeal when you are not a party before them? Yes, they have the right of appeal.
Okay.
They said whoever will be negatively or adversely affected by any judgment when they can go to appeal. And said, the court of first instance gave us a judgment will affect me adversely.
So the place of local standard.
No, it doesn't come in.
Okay.
No, when it goes to appeal, you can, if you feel you will suffer an injury by that judgment, you can also proceed on an appeal. You can also proceed.
Okay,
so the National Assembly has a right of appeal. That is one. Two, the person that went to court, what injury
has the person suffered?
Will he suffer? Or has he suffered? What injury? That is why when I said, somebody took me up the last time, I said, when the people do forum shopping, I will talk about judiciary. That is the area that if they thought there's going to be a petition against the judge, that is the issue of forum shopping. Going to Abia State, Aba, to go and secure a judgment. Of course, there's one division of there's one federal high court, but so many divisions. But why don't you go to Abuja where it happened? So you went to Aba to go and secure. That is what we call forum shopping, and that is one of the issues relating to justice delivery in Nigeria. When we said the political class or the ruling class always control the judiciary. In this case, it might not be so, but why going to Aba, the indices are that they are looking, or they were looking for a very pliant environment.
This is not the first time. You remember, which is secondus, what happened at that time?
No,
they were procuring judgments. One in Taraba also.
From Kebbi, from Kaduna. You see, that has always been. The ruling class has to be very, very careful, and the judiciary too. So they should not be used as a tool.
Larry, this is a developing story.
But then the deed is that if the National Assembly will appeal the judgment, but the Senate is also trying to amend that particular section based on what the president said. We should not confuse the fact that they refused. I told you, they did not reject it. The Senate did not reject it. It was, and it's still in the rule of the Senate, that once a matter is before the court, don't say it. But the court has also come out, don't gag the National Assembly. The process, you have to leave them. It is the outcome of the process you can challenge. So that suit, it was an expert 7 days as they say they can go ahead now and amend. Okay. If anybody raises the issue of the steel in court, it does not matter.
It doesn't hold water. Okay, Larry, I still have some legal issues that I will be throwing out to you, but let's move on. Protests against OAU VC's appointment within legitimate right. Oni. The Oni of Ife Obade Ogunwusi has cautioned the indigenes and residents of the town protesting against the appointment of a non-native as the vice-chancellor of the Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife. The monarch also assured workers and students of the institution of safety of lives and property. The Oni, in a statement by his Director of Media and Public Affairs, Moses Olafari, on Wednesday, promised the protesters that their agitation will be given adequate attention, saying protest were legitimate right and a way to pass messages of dissatisfaction across to relevant authorities. So you have Oni condemning that particular development, and traditional worshippers are saying, no, we were not the ones who invaded Obafemi Awolowo University. All of these on one end. The fact that towns residents would want vice chancellors to be picked from their town. Professor Bamire, that was picked in this case, is also from Osun State. But the indigenes are insisting that someone from Ile-Ife must be appointed. Okay, OAU is a federal university. This protest and all that you have seen, your reaction, Bright?
Yes, if we look at it from that angle, I have not really followed the UIVC, will I call it the schedule to know if somebody
The
from
one
that town,
here in UI?
no, sorry,
OAU.
OAU, I mean, have ever produced a VC from that particular town. But if that may be the case, like the Oni said, it is not a crime for the indigenous of that town to demand their son or their daughter to be appointed as vice chancellor. But another question we need to ask: do they have any qualified professor or candidate that fit that particular position? And if they do have, nothing stopping from contest. I don't know what.
Have you seen the scorecard of those that contested?
Yes.
It's been released. It's in the public domain. Professor Bamire, was far ahead of his colleagues, and so he was picked.
So in terms of qualification, he's fit for the position. But maybe this town is looking at some consideration. That's why I started at the beginning by saying I don't really know if any of their indices have ever produced a vice chancellor that have ruled or taken affairs of that particular institution from the time of inception. But notwithstanding, I think they've made a point, and I think they should allow their points to go through a period of consideration. That probably maybe next time they can actually consider any of their candidates. But for this particular one, somebody who went through a process and is qualified for that particular office and is being appointed for that office, I don't think it will be fair to him if protest will make him lose that particular offer. But notwithstanding, every community has a right to want to request, because they are the one hosting the institution. Whatever is coming from that institution, whether positive or negative, has a direct impact on that community.
Okay, so traditional worshippers dissociate cells from invasion of OAU campus, charging security operatives to uncover those dressed like traditionalists. You saw these ones. The leadership and the entire members of the Traditional Religion Worshippers Association, the umbrella body for all adherents of traditional religion, on Wednesday called on security agencies to fish out, investigate, and uncover those that dressed like traditionalists and invaded the campus of Obafemi Awolowo University Ile-Ife.
No, you said they are not being truthful to themselves. The masquerades came out yesterday, Egun, and earlier on, the women who were robed in white apparel were there, and they promised coming back 3 days later that everybody should move away from campus, the students, the staff, and they made good their promise. They came with masquerades and raining curses on people, and they were there for a very long time. And the only point I want to add is this: one Professor Joseph Fuakwe, the VC of Federal University of Technology, Akure Futa, is said to be an indigenous of Ife. How would he look if Akure people begin to agitate?
And that's a federal institution too. Futa.
If it is true that Professor Joseph Fuakwe, the incumbent Vice Chancellor of Federal University of Technology, Akure, is from Ife, an indigenous of Ife, I think we need to look into this. This is Southwest is seen to be highly civilized. To be highly civilized.
Larry, yes. Whatever thing is good for the goose is good for the gander.
Ibadan
fought for it and they got it.
Ibadan didn't get it. Ibadan had been University of Ibadan had been there for long. DK started as an indigenous 62 years ago. What I'm trying to say is this: it followed that process. They also contested, and they have been contesting. Ibadan people must have been contesting. Ibida Kobe is there. What is it Professor Adenin or who? Abu, the man with 4 initials. You see, they have resided here. Probably they were born, but of course they are not indigenous. But for the very first time, they pushed this thing, and the fact that they got it does not mean that they considered Ibadan over and above any other contestant, because it's eminently qualified. Eminently qualified.
But Ibadan got it. If wants to give it a try.
Ibadan, that is when I'm coming to that. If people also contest, peradventure, if by the end of Bamire tenure, 5 years to this time, the Ife people also have people who can contest, and they are eminently qualified. There is nothing stopping them. But you have told us about the scorecard, which I also saw 81%. And maybe they probably somebody from Ife, and Ife indigenous could have scored maybe 70 something. That is
I
not
think the
within,
person ranked sixth.
it's okay. That is not within the score. It couldn't have been made the vice chancellor over and above those who are eminently more qualified than.
But the argument is that it's a political position.
But don't indigenize this issue. That is why I said Southwest is seen to be civilized. If we continue to do that, everything about ethnicity, they could give a case of Ibr92.5FM, fine, you understand. But eminently, Professor Yaya Abubakar or Iya Abubakar, the only person with first class at the age of 23 here, and he became a professor at the age of 32 or there about 28, I'm not too sure. He went and became the vice chancellor of Ibr92.5FM. So these are things we need to look. But please don't bring, for the sake of emphasis, into the administration of university, in the university administration, in the process. Don't bring the issue of indigene into it. The question is that if Ife is lucky to have hosted OAU, those persons that brought about the establishment of OAU between Awolowo and Ladoke Aketola had the right to say we are taking it to where? To either Ikene or Ogbomoso. It was funded by Awolowo. But when it was being built, it was built by Aketola. He, as a premier, second premier, he had the right to say, now that Awolowo moved out, I can take it to Ogbomoso. So now that they have given it to Ife, it's sufficient to have it. And you see all those things coming to Ife. I also schooled at Ife, having to leave Igboho, my own city. And you made first class. Okay. The point I'm trying to say is that it's sufficient enough, but they have agitations. If they have been shortchanged because they are qualified people, and that is another thing. But if they are better hands than their own indigene, the indigene should strive to excel so that they will be properly positioned to become vice chancellor.
Okay, let's move on. I am unbothered by court ruling on my sack. I have even added weight, says Umahi. David Umahi, governor of Ebonyi State, says he is not worried about the recent court judgment removing him from office. The cable had reported how a federal high court sitting in Abuja ordered the removal of Umahi and his deputy, Eric Igwe, over their defection from the People's Democratic Party to the All Progressives Congress. Speaking on Wednesday after a meeting with President Muhammadu Buhari in Abuja, the Ebonyi governor said it is against the constitution for him to have been sued in the first instance. And he said something that is very striking, that the constitution will not talk of qualification for a political party, okay, but for the candidate. That contradicts what you've established or what we've been saying, that the constitution, a Supreme Court judgment, would recognize votes, okay, in any election for a political party and not the candidate. Larry, yesterday you did say that by the virtue of the withdrawal of his suit, okay, he stands sacked.
Yes.
Is that still the position?
That is the
this
position.
Man is saying he's not losing weight.
No, he cannot lose weight. What do you expect him to say? What do you expect him to say now? Like, if you were in this position, you would say same. And what would they have gone to the president to brief the president on his own dilemma? He is not losing weight, and he has engaged the services of 18 senior advocates of Nigeria, and he's not losing weight. He's not losing weight. The moment the president came, that after he had attended to some national issues, it's one of those issues he's attending to.
So when you go to meet the president over this kind of a case, what is it they discuss with the president?
No, I don't know. We are not there. I'm not there.
No, I'm just asking. Maybe you have an insight.
No, the point is this: it's not in the president's party. He could have gone to discuss the coming national convention of his party, the new party that he has joined. That is one. He could have said some other things. The issue of security is always there. And if his security, he has challenges with security.
Now,
like
it's not about Mayelo. Whenever any governor in Nigeria runs into trouble, especially those in the camp of the president, not only President Muhammad Buhari, they run to Aso Villa, and you begin to ask yourself.
That is there is some level of comfort in the Aso Rock.
Okay,
that
you hear some soothing things.
No, you and I will not be able to digest or comprehend. But the issue is this: as long as he has withdrawn his stay of execution suit and the court has decisively struck it out, he remains sacked. So why INEC is dilly-dallying is what I don't know, and that is why the other party is putting pressure on
the PDP. Is saying that it should be given certificate of returns
to us. We are the one now. So whatever is going on underneath, we might not be privy to it, but then the situation on the surface, as it were, and as relates to decided cases, is that he remains sacked.
Okay, let's move on. Over 40 billion naira needed to revamp Oyo education sector. That's according to the government. Signs agreement to hand over school to all students. The Oyo state government has disclosed plans to hand over a government college banner to Schools Old Boys Association, noting that over 40 billion naira is needed to uplift the state's education to the barest minimum. Secretary to the state government, Mrs. Olubami Wadiosh, made this disclosure during the signing of an agreement between the government and the incorporated trustees of the government college, Ibadan Old Boys Association. So bright. When you look at this, the fact that the state government is saying some of 40 billion naira is needed to revamp your education sector, some persons have reacted saying, but the governor promised free education. So when you look at this, we could be interpretative in this climb. I hope someone will not interpret this to mean that the government is saying what is ahead, we may not be able to face it.
Well, they've not come out authoritatively to say that they cannot face it. But at the same time, too, if you look at the state of education in your state, it's really in a bad state.
In a bad state?
Yes. If you look at the infrastructure majorly, it's really in a bad state. The state government have been trying some intervention method to actually uplift the standard. But at the same time, too, people are trying to compare what they are coming up with and this idea of free education. If the state government is coming up to say they cannot afford or raise that money.
No, the government has not said this.
No, I said if they are saying that, that's when we're going to query their free education policy, which they brought out. Why will you bring out something at the end of the day you cannot sustain? But at the other end, too, the government, from what I feel, they are trying to deliver quality education because education truly is expensive. And if you want to give out the best, then you should be ready to spend more money. Remember when they started this administration, they have to jack up the budget for education in Oyo State to a reasonable level to be able to meet up with what is obtainable in international standard when it comes to education delivery. But at that, we've not still gotten the value of what they are trying to deliver to the people. So I believe maybe they've looked at, they must have done some assessment. But what I don't understand, that 40 billion, are they really referring to that particular school they mentioned or the entire schools across the state?
I think it's what is needed to revamp education in the state.
And even if you are to pump in 40 billion, it may not really go 50%. When you talk about this current state of education, go to some schools. If you look at the structure, remember we were talking about seats in the schools. I was privy to go to some schools. You can't even find chairs there. There are some schools that don't have perimeter fencing. Go to the schools at airport. They've been complaining, the host community there and the teachers they are complaining that the students are invading the community, coming to school. There's no perimeter fence, there's no way you can control them, and that's a state-owned school. So if you look at they really need a lot of money to put education in the right direction. And if they can successfully do that, map out, look at certain schools that really need serious intervention.
So would you advise, because it's been on the table, I've engaged some stakeholders, would you advise the governor to reverse himself on the cancellation of this levy?
That's if the governor or the government is coming up to say they cannot afford it. Because for now, they've not said they can't afford it. So if they can afford it, fine. But if they are coming up to say they cannot afford it, then definitely they should review. Because one thing, if education is cheap and is free, the people you are giving it to, they may not value it.
Okay, Larry, you weighed in. Let's pay some bills.
Wo sórí ó ṣe jẹ́lẹ̀ ní pé ẹni tó bá kọ́ bọ́ sí ìgboro ni ó ṣe pàtàkì kéèyàn wá nǹkan máa ṣe nítorí akitiyan ò lópin kó ọ̀n sọ̀hún tààrà wá ṣe ń ṣe nǹkan nìyẹn súnkẹrẹ gbàkẹrẹ fẹ́ni tó bá ní nǹkan ṣe nítorí pé iwájú ọ̀pá ẹ̀bì tí ń lé sí kò sáyé fúnfà sẹ́yìn láéláé wá ṣe ń ṣe nǹkan nìyẹn torí náà báwo ló ṣe fẹ́ ṣe lónìí MTN. Wo sórí ó ṣe jẹ́lẹ̀ ní pé ẹni tó bá kọ́ bọ́ sí ìgboro ni ó ṣe pàtàkì kéèyàn wá nǹkan máa ṣe nítorí akitiyan ò lópin kó ọ̀n sọ̀hún tààrà wá ṣe ń ṣe nǹkan nìyẹn súnkẹrẹ gbàkẹrẹ fẹ́ni tó bá ní nǹkan ṣe nítorí pé iwájú ọ̀pá ẹ̀bì tí ń lé sí kò sáyé fúnfà sẹ́yìn láéláé wá ṣe ń ṣe nǹkan nìyẹn torí náà báwo ló ṣe fẹ́ ṣe lónìí MTN.
All right, welcome back, everyone. It's the Rise and Shine. So, Larry, we were talking about the state of education in Oyo State.
Yes, state of education. I think the content of the agreement is that the education has to be free, according to the policy of the state government. But they have to massively put infrastructure in place without the government coming in. And the government of the governing board will have to absorb or bring in their new staff. And if any member of staff of that particular school on the employment list of Oyo State wishes to move to that of governing council, that person is free. But government will still maintain its own staff on the payment roll or the whatever of the state government. That is, the issue of infrastructure is what is key. Let me say 95% of schools in Oyo State do not have perimeter fence. 95%. 95%. You need to just go. Whether community, in fact, along this road alone, this Kolako, you find that so many schools do not have. So many. Only few schools have perimeter fence. If it is key, or it's one of those infrastructure facilities, then the state will need more than, as a Bright said, more than 40 billion. If you have well over 600 private secondary schools in Oyo State, and you need to give them perimeter fence, you know what it costs?
School governing board, what would they be doing?
Shouldn't they fix that? They are not charged to collect fees from students. Oh, yes, they are not charged.
But they can raise funds.
They can. That is one. What about the primary schools? The last time we spoke, we said something about students and pupils hanging on the window doors, taking classes. Some using blocks, broken blocks as seats.
At the primary school level.
When last did we put in place desks and benches for pupils and students? I attended secondary school during late Bolaige. We were given iron locker and iron chair that some of us didn't have to even go with our books home. When you have your padlock, you can't just lock your things there. Come back next year. After you have come back, you resume from holiday, then you still meet your books there. But such a thing does not happen again in the state. So the state needs to put in proper perspective. Desk, then dilapidated, some roofs were blown off, they have not been replaced. The structures are still solid. And we challenge the Commissioner for Education. We also challenge, particularly with respect to primary school education, SUBEB. What is the SUBEB doing? They need to collate this, put it, maybe they have to seek for assistance elsewhere. Not necessarily from UBEC. If the funds from UBEC is not sufficient to cater for this, You said tomorrow, these are the leaders of tomorrow. They are not even leaders of tomorrow. They are the miscreants of tomorrow. If they go by this, the level at which they study, the environment at which they study, that you are just hardening them. Before you know it, they will just, whatever, it is garbage in garbage and whatever you
education
put in
is not about the writing alone.
it's not. That's why I said, even the environment must be conducive. That is why people, the elite, will do everything to take their children to elite schools where they have decent environment. Look at that. We employ the state government to copy from what Amechi did in Rivers. That some of these schools compete far better than even private schools.
Fashola did same in Lagos too.
You see, those are things, but we are talking of massive education. If massive education, if what late Jakande did in Lagos, when they used to have morning session, afternoon session, and he brought everybody together, they said it was potty house that he built for people. But at the end of the day, those potty houses have produced so many people. I know Sanwo-Olu will be one of the products of those potty houses, but we need proper education.
Okay.
The fact that you have jacked up the allocation to education from whatever it was to about 20%, 22%, we still need more. It's commendable, but we still need more in the area of education. That is what we pride ourselves on.
Okay, let's move on. Let's quickly look at this before I open the phone lines. Autonomy, disregard Fayemi Akeredolu's opposition, Noge tells Buhari. The Nigerian Union of Local Government Employees has decried the negative position of Governors Kayode Fayemi and Rotimi Akeredolu of Ekiti and the Ondo State respectively over the struggle for local government autonomy, saying the two Southwest governors were the major problem behind the realization of both political and financial autonomy for the third tier of the government in the country. Bright, this is indicting two Southwest governors. According to Noge, these two governors are the brain behind the non-realization of autonomy for local government in Nigeria.
Yeah, if you look at the position of the Ekiti State governor, sometimes he gives some position as the head of
the Nigerian Governors Forum.
So I don't know if he is speaking on his own capacity as the governor of Ekiti State or is speaking on behalf of the entire governor.
But Noge at the national level is inducting these two Southwest governors.
And that's why I say it's unfortunate both of them are coming from the Southwest. So maybe Fayemi may be speaking on behalf of the entire...
We clamor for local government autonomy more in the Southwest region.
There was a time when the governors were calling for restructuring, that they have to tell them, go back and restructure your state first. And this local government autonomy is a point.
No, President Muhammadu Buhari believes restructuring starts at the local government.
Yes, when you want to restructure, you don't start from the top. You start from the grassroots. And this is the best form for you to get good governance, good democracy to the grassroots.
So why are we then blaming the federal government for not restructuring?
You see, they are both birds of the same feather. The federal government, the state governors, they are all in the same feathers. They push what will benefit them or beneficial to them. And that's why Noge have to kick when it comes to this particular regard. Because why are you blocking them? Because if the local government have autonomy, they have the opportunity to give democracy to the grassroots. But a situation where governors want to take control over their state revenue and also take control over the local government and preside over it is never done. So that's why I feel some governors will want to stand in to block because another asset or avenue of funds to them.
There's something that's instructive, I know. One, Fayemi, the chairman
of the Nigerian Governors
Forum of Nigeria. Akeredolu, chairman, Governors Forum of
the
Southwest. That is instructive. Both of them could be talking. Fayemi for all the governors and Akeredolu for the Southwest. We need each governor in Nigeria and each governor, particularly in the Southwest, to state.
So maybe this is
to state his own side of this story.
Okay.
Given what we have seen now.
Okay. I think I will encourage colleagues whenever we have the opportunity to engage the governors. Let's ask them what their position on these local government autonomies.
Yes,
Okay, okay. I think thank you for raising that. It could be that they've been speaking in their capacity as the chairman of Nigerian Governors Forum, and Rotimi Akeredolu is also the chairman of the Southern Governors Forum.
No, even Southwest.
Even Southwest. So
Southwest.
Before the Southwest will be painted black. Okay, let me open the phone line so that we can be part of the program. There are more stories. For instance, constitution review. Nigerian women give federal lawmakers 7-day ultimatum to pass gender bills. It's getting interesting. Okay, Oyo APC deserves highest position zone to Southwest. That will lam additional. Okay, so the numbers to call to be part of the program this morning, 0902 280 9257. You also have 0916 104 7698. 0811 052 6487. I know you must have been trying these numbers, but of course, just give within the next 1 minute. The lines, okay, are just coming up now. So in the next 1 minute, they will be available for your use. In the meantime, let me quickly pick some text messages. Good morning, Anu and our great analyst, Larry Agoro. It is unfortunate that people like Minister Shehu Malami, okay, is it Shehu Malami? Always equate personal interest with national interest, and that is why they go out of their worth to tamper with the scale of justice. It is darkness visible if judicial process is not free and fair. Prince Remi Adegbola from Agoro sent that message. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir. How are you, sir?
I am fine, sir. Good morning, sir.
Shall be well with you in Jesus' name.
Amen, sir.
I am Pastor Roger.
You're welcome, sir.
I want to quickly comment on this for education and university. And now, this I want to bring out is this. I just want all the people to understand that the government alone cannot handle this of education. Yes, in fact, education in Nigeria is a level at which government cannot fund this thing alone. So, one, I want everybody to understand that we need to make sure that, one, we can support the government on this education, maybe by one way or the other.
Oh, Mr. Labiharubojo, okay, I kept faith alive, hoping that there will be an improvement, but of course, nothing of such. I'm sorry, I have to drop that particular call. You may call back. Thank you so much. Hello, good morning.
Morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, again.
Thank you. Your name, please. Okay, Ajayi from Ologuneru. You are welcome, sir.
For a payment to be 5,000 per term, because properly understand that government cannot fund education. So let us do the city affairs.
Mr. Ajayi from Ologuneru, the same issue, unfortunately, the same line. Okay, you may call back. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Thank you. Bayo from Olodo, welcome.
I'd like to speak on the issue of education, and that has to do with the government. You see, the free education that the government is doing, I do not see any reason why it has to be stopped. Because even when they were collecting some money from the students, how helpful was the money? Did the government even use it judiciously? We should all remember that it was even when people started shouting after like about 3 years. That's when Governor Ajimobi then started using the 1,000 naira he was collecting from the students. I think the best thing is to return the school back to either the old students or the initial owner, just like the GCI is doing. We had a program in my old school last week, and that Bishop Alabajo said this government should return their school back to them so that they will manage the school properly. Go to all schools around. The secondary school is only the old students that are doing one project or the other in all those schools. None is coming from the government for years, maybe even after military government.
Okay.
So I don't know why the government should continue holding on to the schools. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Bayo, for your time on the program. Okay, we're due for another round of break. We'll be back.
Wo sórí ó ṣe jẹ́lẹ̀ ní pé ẹni tó bá kọ́ bọ́ sí ìgboro ni ó ṣe pàtàkì kéèyàn wá nǹkan máa ṣe nítorí akitiyan ò lópin kó ọ̀n sọ̀hún tààrà bá ṣe ń ṣe nǹkan nìyẹn súnkẹrẹ gbàkẹrẹ fẹ́ni tó bá ní nǹkan ṣe nítorí pé iwájú ọ̀pá ẹ̀bì tí ń rí sí kò sáyè fúnfà sẹ́yìn láéláé bá ṣe ń ṣe nǹkan nìyẹn torí náà báwo ló ṣe fẹ́ ṣe lónìí
All right, welcome back, everyone. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning. I'm Oluwapo.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Mr. Bright and Mr. Agro.
Thank you. Mr. Ogunka Joseph, welcome.
On the issue of OAU, I think citing an institution in a particular place is a privilege. And we must not banking on it that firstly the leader must come from that particular community. It's taken by the indigenous of Ife. It's far beyond ordinary privilege because it has involved bringing in threatening people in that particular campus. It is uncalled for. We must not exercise things like this. And government is not on our side, and we ourselves are waiting for against ourselves. It is uncalled for. Let them go and have a speak of it. Thank you and God bless you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ogunka Joseph, for your time on the program this morning. Okay, good morning, Anu. Hi, BR and the analyst in the studio. What do you expect police to say over the killings of suspects? A lot of victims have died in their hands on what people call just give me on roadblocks. Police force should redeem their image and restore people's confidence in them. Femi Aderemi from Para in Norway sent that message. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, my brother.
Okay.
You're
welcome. You're welcome.
Thank you. So I just want the populace to understand one thing, that telling us that education is free, we are going to offer your children free education. I want them to believe that it is a rules, and it cannot happen because the government of the day, number one, don't have that passion for education, and the total interest was not there. Number two, I want you to believe that anything that is so free cannot be so qualitative. And also, I want government to make sure that they do something to, if they are going to privatize education. Yes, education has reached that level in Nigeria so that our children will have a better future. Thank you for accommodating me.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
How are you, sir?
I am fine. And you too? Oh, okay. We are having issues. Okay, I will advise you call back, sir. That line isn't clear. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Anu.
Thank you.
My name is Adeshi from UI.
Adeshi Omola from UI. Welcome.
You see, the issue with education is only limited in your state. I don't understand the kind of leaders we are bringing across the country. Go on those states, for all those popular schools. In those days, we even used to have school bus that we used to take 40,000 meters. If you go to those schools now, all you say, you cannot even enter the gate. So you go to your state. I don't know where all this from this country, because it's across the country. This government, they are just putting money, using money and building private schools. So it's not only in your state. We just need to pay for us to have leaders that are really our boys. Not the ones that pretend to where is at. And our life cannot forgive them. Let's have a good day.
Thank you so much for your time. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Norman. This is Olatoji Buhari Abiodun from Akpeche. Good morning, my dear.
Good morning, sir.
Mr. Norman, let me compliment one Mr. Bright, or the man who lay emphasis on OAU matter. OAU has been cited in Ife. Those who cited it, they have the prerogative power to take it to their own time. Now that OAU has been cited in Ife and it is being controlled by federal government, there's no need for institutionship again in the DC. We have position of deputy vice chancellor, butter, other principal officers in the university, head of department. A qualified intelligence can become head of any of these organizations. We have so many directors in university, director of maintenance, director of work, all these directors. We should not reduce federal university to indigenous people. So, two, I will pray that our primate will pray for Mr. Momoringo, because being on the duty this morning for me, I believe it handwork, your commitment to duty. I wish you best of luck, sir.
Thank you so much, sir, for your time on the program this morning. Okay, good morning, IBR. Okay, I think I have a caller. Hello, good morning. Okay, Akinlolu AK. Firstly, kudos to two of our regular analysts. They are great, coupled with the anchorman that make the program to be the greatest. Thank God it is confirmed by an insider that 80% of our crude oil was stolen. Wow, God should arrest the mind of our leaders to do the needful. About 2023 election, as of today, one party has resolved their internal crisis to a logical conclusion, while the other one just kick-started the zoning crisis. Okay, people are ready to change the power, but where is the alternative? God bless Nigeria. Thank you. Good morning, sirs. I don't see reasons why we should not congratulate the president whenever he makes a success on the issue of insecurity, since we put the blame only on him whenever success is not made. Oladeji Moshood from Akinyele. I quite agree with you, and whenever any feat is achieved, we'll try to celebrate if it is worth celebrating. Honorable Hope Omon from Malakia. The protest by some people on the request of appointing OAUVC as indigene has again revealed that one Nigeria is a fallacy of truth that cannot be explained by anybody. Same thing happened in Akure, Ondo State, when Governor Akeredolu appointed an Igbo lady into his cabinet. Okay, Honorable Hope Omon, thank you. Retrieve cash looted by late Ajimobi to fund education. This is Ayo from UI. Can you prove these? Hanu, with your State MOU, the dream of my boy attending GCI has just been dashed. It will surely go out of reach of ordinary Nigerians. Professor Olowofela said in 2 years, GSM will regret its decision of cancelling 1,000 naira term levy. Please, is this how to implement free education? Your analysts have not been fair in analyzing this. Shown from Basharon. Send that message. Hello, Anu, in the analyst. Based on past events, the state of education was appalling when Makinde came on board, and he said he will work hard to improve the education. With these, the government has tried to reform it through initiatives like the Start Them Early program. So if the Oyo State government decides to give GCI to the Oyo Student Association, I am confident it will be for the best. Do have a nice day. Bakis on Adiron. Thank you so much, Bakis, for your time on the program this morning. Thank you so much. Let me see if I can actually take some Facebook messages. Olai Abidin, thank you so much. Always sending compliments. Samuel Paul, good morning, Anu, our able analyst. The protest in OAU is a misplaced priority. I believe Bamire must have been picked on the basis of merit. I see no reason why leadership roles should be based on sentiment and tribalism in a 21st century properly called, and not in an academic environment. Abba, these people are learned and should behave so. Okay, thank you, Samuel Paul. Sorry, I have to cut it short. Eyitayo Sulaiman says, happy birthday, Uncle Anuluapo. Oh, it's not my birthday, it's my wife's birthday. Okay, thank you all the same. The Lord bless and keep you. May He continually bless you with great wisdom in Jesus' mighty name. Okay, today is your own birthday too. Keep winning, sir. Okay, Neitayo Suleiman, thank you so much. Happy birthday. Prince Bumi Adefusi, good morning. Annual Memorial Day. To me, handing over the school to old students is good. Governor Sheyi Makinde had been investing so much on education, and we all know education is expensive. Claiming sole ownership of Lautech is not a child's play. be it association groups. We all have our roles to play. Okay, thank you, Ambassador Yusuf Boyega Abdulafiz. Good morning to you in the studio. Security outfit should be more active in the state to avert the activities of hoodlums. Malami should be diplomatic in his relation with people. Political tenure is transient for everyone. Raji Afiz Abidemi, good morning. Anulwa Pomori, the number men in the studio. Can Nigerians hear President Muhammad Buhari said all APC candidates that stepped down, let the party return their money back to them? Honestly, it is laudable if it's not another way round. God bless Nigeria. Haderonke Akorede Oladele says, good morning, Anu. Happy birthday to you. It's not my birthday, it's my wife's birthday. But thank you so much. I'm always impressed your state-led administration is revamping the education sector in the state. This shows the government wants the best for the future leaders in the state. For the old student to join hands with the government, they've seen the administration as a performing one, and of such has never been heard in the state. Kudos to GSM-led administration. Kolawole Kazim. The solution to the energy crisis in Nigeria is for state government across the country to begin to build modular refineries and power stations in their various states as the constitution demands. Section 2 under concurrent list paragraph 14 of 1999 constitution says state government should generate and distribute electricity when the national grid is not available. The problem is that we have state government that have not been doing anything with our money. I know that Oyo state government, for example, has written 3 budgets worth 700 billion naira. I also know that if the government should spend 300 billion naira out of that money to generate electricity, it will be able to give Oyo people 24 hours of electricity. I hope your own copy of the 1999 constitution is not one that was specially written for you, Kolawole Kazim, because we've been on this for a long time. Check through that constitution. Check through. You may see something different. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Thank you.
I'm Tayo, and I'm calling from Bodijalam.
You're welcome.
Regarding the story that traditional religion Worshippers Association of Nigeria rejected the allegation that 3 of their female members had white clothes tied around their bodies.
Are you there? Okay, Tayo from Bodija Halamuyo. I'm indeed sorry. Saint Ogungbe says, I know education has never been free in this part of the country. If it happens elsewhere, pulpits, chairs, and tables are eyesores. We parents are presently planning on how to repair the principal's roof. Okay? Saint Ogungbe sent that message from Igbora. Olayiwola Thompson says, Hanuluwapo, good morning. About Tumahi, Aso Rock is succor for anybody troubled party member. Even if you are a looter, you can run to president for cover. That is the position we find ourselves. Okay? Abiola says, good morning, Anu. Most of our APC governors are spineless. Our president is now the all-knowing and the all-powerful. Whatever he says, good or bad, supporting anything concerning Buhari and some corrupt APC members is like wishing Nigeria break up. Okay? Solomon Olukayode says, now that the APC Governors Forum has agreed to absorb Muhammad Buhari's chairmanship candidate, I asked Anulu Akpo, are they rubber stamp as well? Is that man the best of all? Should tuberculosis still be a killer disease in Nigeria in the 21st century? Oh, how I wish I have an answer. Thank you so much, Solomon Olukayode, for your time. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning. My name is Oladeji.
Oladeji.
From, yes, sir, from Adeji.
Okay.
I want to speak about autonomous government.
Please go ahead.
Local government may cause this problem by themselves. During the Rangida regime, they will look at the number of teachers. And then they manipulate the numbers of teachers. And then that teachers' money, they reduce from their allocation. Cause this problem. If they want to have autonomy about it, what they want to do about the teachers, primary teacher will go back to local government to be at the state. We know what they did in primary school at that time. Now they're crying. So cause all this problem in them. If they want to do this information to that thing, they must know the number of teachers in the primary school.
Okay.
When the state government pays, the remaining money, they use it to spend on themselves.
Okay, thank you so much, sir, Mr. Ayodele, for your time on the program. Oluwadare Tayo on Twitter says, I know Nigerians are the problems of Nigeria. For instance, 95% of IBR audience have attachment to either APC or PDP. They don't want people to hold their parties or their leaders accountable. If anyone tries to query their leaders, they will attack him and ask him to leave their leaders alone. Okay, Olakunle Don, we upgraded our airport, but degraded our universities and hospitals. We are only concerned with the rich. Thank you so much, everyone who has been part of the program. I'm sorry there is no way I can attend to all, for time is not on our side. I am Anuluakbo on Moride. Happy birthday to my beautiful wife, and of course it's double celebration for those who knows. I am Anuluakbo Moride. Once again, see you tomorrow by the special grace of God.
Follow Impact Business Radio, Ibr92.5FM.
Always first.